Jumbo, I'm Ayuma, the story coach.
Jumbo, I'm Ayuma, the money coach.
Together, we bring you Her Money Story Africa,
a podcast where we are humanizing African women's money stories.
We believe every African woman knows something about money that she could teach or learn. Grab your drinks and snacks and let's talk money the African woman style.
Remember to subscribe to our podcast and share it with a friend.
Hey sis, Ayuma here. Today's money story is by Mkamboi from Nairobi, who talks about motherhood and money. Enjoy her story and look out for Auma's money tool and our reaction to this episode.
Hi. So my story begins from as a young girl, just about to complete campus, and then I was in love, and this love story found me pregnant. Of course, an unplanned pregnancy. But what I thought was going to be, me and my so called boyfriend sticking together through thick and thin, that didn't happen. So instead, we ended up breaking up. Still, while I was very pregnant, and remember, I'm just completing my campus. It was during that, finishing college education and all that. So I'd not even had time to search for a job. And here I am going to my mom's house, very heavily pregnant. It's like, yes, I got the degree, mom, but I also came back with another story. Yeah. Which in that particular season for me looked like a burden because I felt my parents had done so much for me to just educate me. College money is not small money, and they'd done everything that to give me the best for college. And the expectation, like any other parent, was, our child is going to make us proud. She'll graduate from college, end up straight in a corporate organization, and flourish. Just every parent's dream. Yeah, but that unfortunately was not my story in that particular season. So here I am. I'm going through a breakup. I'm having a lot of fear for the future because I don't know what this child will eat. I'm so scared for the future. I'm feeling I've really failed myself. I've failed my parents, all the sacrifice, all the hard work. I'm feeling unworthy. I'm feeling rejected. I'm feeling like, I don't even deserve to be here. And so, um, fast forward to 9 months later, the child is already here with us. Uh, I had to go through a CS operation, which I felt bad about it because CS meant my parents had to cough more money for the surgery. It's different from what we call the natural birthing process. Like I remember seeing the bill and being like getting so depressed just about the bill, not because they'd told me I should pay for it, but just imagining, oh my goodness, look at what I've brought. Like I can remember several months ago, college fees was being paid. And here I have another 300K bill to pay for my own quote unquote mistake. And I went home with my child feeling depressed, feeling unwanted, feeling unworthy. I think I was going through what people call postpartum depression because I would spend just a lot of my time crying. The baby was cute, but I was not there. I think I was on what you call autopilot mode, and also at the same time trying to figure out why am I here. And I can remember this one instance where my mom was actually in the laundry area, and there was that was in my mom's house. There was like a corridor where I could sit on that corridor and be able to face anyone who is working at the laundry area. And so I was seated there, just watching my mom. The baby at that particular time was fast asleep, and I looked at that picture of my mom just doing laundry, and it broke me completely. It broke me completely. I looked at her and I was like, this is a woman in her 60s, right? Back then, right now she's in her 70s, but then she was in her 60s. Somebody who has retired, somebody who should be resting, you know, but here she is, uh, bending her back, washing my clothes, my baby's clothes. And all this was because I was still nursing the surgery wound. So ideally, I could not, or rather, she could not allow me to do the laundry aspect. And so just that aspect broke me. And then my mom was not really as healthy. She had also undergone some medical issues, so it was beating me on so many fronts. Old mom. She's not even that 100% in good health, and here she is, taking care of me instead of the other opposite way where I should be the one taking care of her if she needed to be taken care of. Yeah, and I cried so badly. I cried, and then she had me, the murmuring of the cries, and she had me, and she looked at me and she said, Mkamboi, do you mean now you want to cry? And I was like, of course, she was speaking our language, our native language. And I was like, Mom, I can't help it. I have to cry. And then, for all along, I thought she had not noticed my behavior where I used to cry a lot. I thought probably I'm doing it, under the blanket and all that. And I thought nobody's noticing. And so she mentioned, you think I've not seen how you walk with your eyes swollen, always crying. You think I haven't noticed that? And she said something that I can remember really startled me and woke me up from that kind of stupor. And she said, do you want me to come and sit down with you right there and then we cry together? And I was like, no, I can't. I mean, the fact that you're actually washing my clothes, you're washing my baby's clothes, your grandchild, and then my pain, you want to carry it in your heart as well and start crying with me. I was like, no, I mean, that's it. I couldn't bear that. I couldn't bear my mom crying because of me. Yes, I had seen the pain of her, doing the manual work, but seeing her in tears because of me, that I couldn't accept. And I think that was the beginning of me just reaching deeper, reaching way, way deeper and figuring out and asking God, why did you create me? Why did you bring me in this earth? Why am I here? Why did you even allow me to have a child when you know very well I do not have a source of income? Why did you allow all this situation that is surrounding me at that particular time? And I can remember reading this Bible verse that says, I will establish the work of your hands. And sorry, the verse is disappearing, but I think it's in the book of Psalms. Yeah. And it's saying, I'll establish the work of your hands. And I'm asking myself, these hands, Lord, what are you going to establish? What are these hands supposed to do? And so, because of my mom's word, I reached deeper. I started crying to God. And my prayer was very, very simple. I just thought, God, show me what these hands can do. I can remember I would just stretch my hands, look up to him and tell him, you, these hands are in perfect condition. They're in good health. Why are they not doing something substantial? Why are they not bringing income? Why are they not helping? How else can I say establish the work of my hands when there's nothing really to establish? And so my journey of faith began from that moment. And because I couldn't bear the thought of my mom crying because of me, I started looking for ways. As much as I'm praying, I can remember applying. I'm a good writer. I can write. I know nowadays I don't write as much, but I can really write. And so I started getting, this what you call guest posts in magazine. I can remember I sent a post in Drum magazine. I can, and then I would get paid per words. Like, they had something per word. I can remember earning something like 5K from a particular post. I would send to another magazine. They used to call it Fountain News. And so I kept on writing and praying to God, may that post be, because if it's not published, it means you won't get money. So my prayer was, as I write this, Lord, because I believed my talent was in writing. I believed so. So I was like, as I get this out there, Lord, let the editor love it, let them connect with it, and let them publish it, because from there we are going to get something. And all this was because I wanted to, to chip in to the work that mom is doing. I wanted to at least buy diapers for my baby. I wanted to at least afford a baby lotion, a baby oil, a baby soap. I wanted to at least buy some cute bonnet for my child. Those a girl is cute, you see something cute and you just want to buy for her. It feels bad when you're so broke that you can just see something cute and you're not able to afford, and you're just hoping, well, maybe somebody will pass here and bless me with that cute bonnet. It's just different. I can even remember during her baptism, uh, something that I'm grateful for. A friend actually bought a beautiful dress for her baptism, and she looked so so cute. I still have that picture today, just to recall that season in my life. And so things started changing. From the writing, I can remember I got the confidence to start doing a merchandising business, and this merchandising business now is where I was honing some skills, and this is basically selling skills because remember I told you I was straight from college. I didn't have a job experience. Well, I had done some internship, yeah, but I didn't have, like what you can, when the people say, please state your experience. I didn't have something I felt very valuable that I could actually speak of, and so I started a merchandising business. And by this business, what I mean was I would brand your cup. I would brand something that T-shirts, I would brand. I can remember there were some golf items that I could brand and that kind of a thing. And so, what this season taught me was first I learned the business from a friend. A friend taught me. We used to go some place called Kirinyaga Road. I keep forgetting that. Oh, Kikorok. Kikorok. Yeah, that's the name. Would go to Kikorok. You'd introduce me to guys who are already doing some printing stuff, and you'd tell me, go get clients, get to know what they're doing, identify your suppliers on this other side, people you can actually trust to give you a good job. And so I was there as a middle person. My work involved getting clients, pitching that I can get for you guys nice lapel pins. I can get for you nice branded polo shirts. I can get for you nice branded bottles, nice branded mugs. And then on this other side, I'm running to what we call downtown Kikorok, connecting with the suppliers and telling them the requirements and being there just to make sure they don't mess with the job so that the client on the other side is happy. And so this part of my life is where I was also learning a no from a client. A client could tell you no. I also learned that you can actually do the job and the client would actually reject it and say this is not per the standard I require, and so I'm not going to pay for that. And it was a tough lesson, but it made me realize, how do I have good relationships so that my suppliers don't mess me up, and on the other side I also have good customer care with my clients and all that. And so as this is a journey God is taking me through. So I'm from writing articles, I'm here doing a merchandising business. It was small time, but I was making a few savings. I can remember for once I was able to treat myself to a Mother's Day, because there's this Mother's Day celebration I'd never been, and like having like a celebration of some sort. And this time I'd saved money and I was like, oh my goodness, I can go somewhere with my baby and just, celebrate myself as a mother and afford something in that beautiful restaurant. I can remember we went to Mamba Park, somewhere near Karen. Yeah, and we had some nice meal. I mean, she was young to understand anything, but just me sitting there with her and just enjoying the day, just the two of us, and even feeling that beauty of, I can give out something. It, I can give out this money so that I can get something back, that something that makes me feel good about myself. And so as I'm continuing to pray, my baby is growing, and the journey of discovery continues. The journey of how to talk to people, how to engage people, being confident, being able to sell, being able to accept no and not looking at it. Remember, I was coming from a rejection background where I'd already been rejected by somebody I really adored and loved. So I had to unlearn no, not necessarily in a negative way, but no could mean they're not ready right now, no could mean this is not part of their vision. No could mean, try and do it better. So next time I'll probably accept your work. And so I had to unlearn that and stop looking at it negatively so that I can be able to face the customer, I can be able to face a bigger market and all that. And so fast forward to around 4 years, my child, she's beginning to go to kindergarten. She goes to school, and then she comes back home with very bad bouts of flu, serious bouts of flu. She's getting very sick. We are running from one hospital to another, getting what were they called? Antibiotics. And then I can remember one day looking at these antibiotics and looking at the dosage and getting so shocked because I'm like, she's so small to be taking this amount of dosage of antibiotic. uh, I felt like I'm not doing her body justice if she's going to be taking this kind of antibiotics. And so as a mother, I was feeling like I'm failing her. And what was even worse, she had to stay at home. She couldn't continue with school. And we were just there one day seated just at home, and then a neighbor saw us. And this neighbor, I can remember she was a Nigerian. She was doing her PhD at University of Nairobi, and she was like, "Hey, I thought you guys started school the other day." Like, yes, yes, we did. So what's happening? I'm like, oh, Shani is very sick. Shani is the name of my daughter, so she's very sick. And then she's like, why? I'm saying I told her about the school and then the very bad flu that she's contracting and all that. And then she said something very casually. I don't even know if she remembers this. I hope she can listen to this podcast because that what she said that day changed our life trajectory forever. And I believe it was God ordained. I believe God had actually orchestrated that particular incident because she told me, try moringa and you'll never visit the hospital again. So me who had been so tired of visiting the hospital, I was tired of the money I was sending to the hospital. I was like, what? I'll never visit the hospital again. Cool. I'm going to try that moringa. So I rushed. Back then it was Tusky's supermarket, bought a moringa powder, came home, tried it on her. It's very blunt taste, so I added some lemon and honey to give it a taste, and I gave it to my baby like like a cup, a drink, and we slept because it was in the evening. So the following morning, I just woke up and continued with my errands because I think I was servicing a client at that particular season, and then I came back afterwards and I found Shani out and about, literally jumping, and I was thinking, my goodness, you are so sick. Yesterday, I was even carrying you from the couch. What has happened? And then it clicked into my mind. It must have been that moringa. So I started researching on this moringa plant and wondering, okay, what did it do? Then I realized, oh, it's an immune booster. So what it did to her body, it started making her body start to fight this flu. And so she was getting her energy back. And I was like, wow, that's what I like. No more antibiotics. And so we stuck to our moringa. It became a habit. Even right now, if you come to my house, there's a tin of moringa somewhere. So we stuck into Moringa. Shani continued school. She continued being a happy child, very healthy, very bubbly. She's full of life as she should be. And so fast forward that same year, I've discovered Moringa. December, we decided to go Shags. My Shags is in Taita Taveta. We get to Shags, and as Shags is a place where people are very communal. People love on each other so well. When you prepare tea, you just don't prepare tea for the 2 3 people that you are seeing in the house. You prepare several flasks, several kettles of tea, because during the day people are just going to walk in to say hi, and you should be serving them something. That's just courtesy, and that's just the life there. And so this tea has been made, and a guy walks in as usual, hi hi, the greetings. He's being told, have a seat. He's being served tea, and it's also breakfast time. And then he realizes, oh, you 2 people from Nairobi are not taking the tea I'm taking. What are you guys taking? So that's me and my daughter Shani. And I tell him, please enjoy your brewed tea. I know it's so sweet. You know, it has milk, it has sugar, it has those nice tea leaves that we love. I'm like, please just enjoy your tea. What you're taking is not even of interest. It doesn't even have a good taste. You won't even like it. But this guy insists. And I'm like, okay, if you should know, this is called moringa tea. I mentioned that and he stares at me in shock, goes a bit silent, and I'm thinking, I said moringa tea. And he's like, where did you get this moringa tea? You mean you know moringa? I'm like, of course, it's this one. I'm taking it. So, of course, I know it. Where did you get it? And I'm like, in the supermarket. It's already in the supermarkets. If you want it, I can, next time as I'm coming, I can come with a jar of moringa tea. I'm like, no, 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 I don't want it. I'm a farmer. I've planted this moringa tea. It's in my backyard. I'm like, whoa, you are a farmer? You are a moringa farmer? And he's like, yes, I'm a moringa farmer. And then this is a good thing. Do you have some of it? Can I carry it? You know, like I'm excited. I'm feeling, oh, I've actually met somebody who does the thing that I actually love. And he's like, well, you can carry it, but we planted it because we thought guys will come and buy it in plenty, but there is no market for it. And he was speaking from a dejected space. So me, I'm here very bubbly, happy. You know, this is like my gold. I know what Moringa has done for my family, but this guy on the other side is talking as if he wasted his land by planting those Moringa trees. He's talking from a place of waste, from a place of regret, from a place of, you know, this thing is not even helping me. And our conversations were not aligned. Like, how would one person look at it like gold and the other person is looking at it like, I lost it? You know, I shouldn't have invested in this thing. And I felt something is definitely wrong with that story because I saw what Moringa can do for my child. There's no way this farmer who has actually sacrificed their land to plant this tree should not see the same thing that I am seeing. If anything, he should be the one smiling because of the kind of impact he's actually creating to so many families, to so many children in Kenya and all over the place. And so as I was coming back to Nairobi, I couldn't let go of that farmer's story. I kept thinking and asking God, but why? Why would something so amazing, so impactful, yet the person on the ground who has planted it, who has sacrificed his acre of land, not seeing that goal that I am seeing? Why are we not resonating? Why are we not in the same wavelength with this particular farmer? And I started asking God, there must be a reason why you allowed me to know Moringa. There must be a reason why you allowed me to actually see its change real. Like I can actually speak confidently and tell people this thing is amazing. Like you need Moringa in your life. There must be a reason. And so again, as a woman of faith, I just kept going back to my prayer closet and asking God, what is it? What is with this Moringa? And God was just guiding me to keep on reading. Read as much, you know, fill my mind with as much knowledge as I can about this Moringa. And man, I read. I read even PhD research that were done from India, from professors in India. Like I was eating anything. I was feeding my mind with anything moringa. I think even if you called my name at that particular time, I would have called you moringa because that was what was revolving around me. And so at some point I thought, oh, maybe I should actually start selling the moringa powder so I can buy from this farmer directly and figure out how to grind and get the powder and sell. And actually tried that, by the way. But then I realized people don't love I was selling it to my inner circle, my small circle, and I realized, oh, they're not even loving the taste. They're like, and I'm telling them how it helped my baby. Yes, they love that. But because right now they're not in need and it's an acquired taste, I realized, okay, this moringa seems like it's just going to be for me and my house. But I still wanted to help this farmer. I still felt there must be a reason why God allowed me to know moringa and why God connected me to that farm. And so I kept on reading, I kept on researching. And so eventually, God revealed to me how it's such an amazing ingredient for beauty. So in moringa, we have one amazing ingredient, which I would say it's occurring naturally in a moringa plant at 42%, while on the other hand, you'd actually have to go and buy in a chemist lab. They'd have to make it for you. But in this moringa plant, it's actually naturally occurring. You're not going to any lab, and it's there, and it's super moisturizing. And so I was like, wow, this must be the magic that God wanted me to look for. And so immediately I started, my mind is starting getting very excited and thinking, what can I do with this particular knowledge that I've actually got to know about its super moisturizing abilities. And then here I am. I have a small child who is always wanting to look cute. Her hair, I don't like taking her to salon because salon, sometimes, like I grew up with that salon trauma. They pull your hair, the blow dry is painful, the plating is another trauma experience. And I was actually shielding my baby from all that time. I had not taken her to salon. And I thought, what if this hair could just be manageably soft, that shouldn't even feel pain and shouldn't even need a blow dry in that instance, and that I can manage my hair, I mean, my baby's hair, and her shouldn't, should not have a bad relationship with her hair, because when it's hair time, it's painful time. Instead, should just love to embrace her hair and embrace even any time that you're making her hair. She's just happy about it. And so that's how I started now learning to formulate and thinking, how can I make hair products from this super moisturizing ability? And ladies and gentlemen, that's how the brand Saru Organics came to be. It started as a startup. I always say startups are two. There are those who are bootstrapping, getting cash from families and friends. And there are those who, by God's favor and grace, or by whatever it is, they have so much funding and they're just growing from a place of abundance. For me, I started Saru Organics from a place of very limited resources. And my vision was every woman with a small baby, with a baby girl, with a cute girl, shouldn't have an issue because of hair care, because her kinky hair is not manageable, the baby is crying, the baby is feeling pain. No, that shouldn't be the story. Instead, that woman can make that baby cute hair. The baby will enjoy that particular season. They will be happy. Even the hair making time will be a happy time, will be an enjoyable time. And it's even a place for a woman to speak blessings on that child, to tell her how beautiful she is, to tell her how glorious that crown is, to speak positivity to that child and make that child grow confident, knowing how beautiful she is and loving and embracing her curls. And so Saru Organics brand started from that idea. We started bootstrapping. My uncle gave me cash. My mom gave me some cash. It still wasn't enough. I got a friend. A friend gave me some cash. And so I began from there, going to what you call flea markets. I would go sell into flea markets. Flea markets, again, allows me to practice my sales skills, being able to tell that customers come to my table what this product can do to them. And so that kind of practice continues. A lot of discipline was required. And that discipline, for example, came in terms of money. I realized, yes, I have needs. I have to take care of my rent. I have to make sure my baby's fed. I have to take school fees. But then if I take everything from Saru, then the Saru brand will be left with nothing and it will not be able to survive. And so I had to make tough choices, like living in a studio room. When I say studio room, I mean like one room with, with just, it's the kitchen and everything, and just have a toilet and bathroom. I had to be very minimalistic as possible. I had just to make very tough sacrifices. I can remember in the beginning, I would do everything alone until my back would hurt. But at some point, I thought, this is not even healthy for me. And so all that made me realize, I can even begin other streams of income so that I don't really burden all my bills to Saru. And other streams of income, I would call them side hustles. They don't take 100% of my time. They just take like 3 hours of my time. So I've started like a travel agency, which is fully automated. It's called Safari Dealers. So Safari Dealers, www.safaridealers.live. What it does, it allows you to go to the website. I've brought all the operators of travel, from flights, booking hotels, top attraction sites, car rentals, car hires, taxis, iVisa, travel insurance, everything that you need for your travel. You can book from one site, be able to take control of your budget, be able to take control of your travel, and know exactly how much money you need to travel. And that now gives me, because it's fully automated, it doesn't I don't need to spend a lot of time in it, but it gives me some more income. Even in the Bible, we are being told have 8 streams of income. So it allows me to supplement my income from Saru, and the same time still having good time to work on my full-time job as the visionary, as the person steering the Saru Organics brand. Thank you.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Leading Through Story. Do you wear many hats as a woman leader? Do you need an experienced brand storytelling coach to help you find synergy with your multiple interests through a clear and structured brand story? Partner today with award-winning story coach, consultant, and trained journalist Ayuma Michelle. For about a decade, Ayuma has amplified and structured brand stories for over 1,000 global women leaders across 5 continents, from Wall Street women, international fashion designers, corporate managers transitioning to consulting, and stay-at-home mothers launching new businesses. She's also the story coach behind her Money Story Africa episodes. Book now your complimentary 45-minute discovery call with Ayuma on our show notes. Learn more about Ayuma and her work on Instagram at Ayuma_Michelle or her website www.letsfindyourstory.com. Wow. So, Mkamboi, I've never heard your story from this perspective, and I just feel so honored to hear from you. And the fact that you're an OG, you're an OG entrepreneur up in the beauty space, especially in Kenya. And I remember when I met you years ago and we were having our coffee, I just noticed your mane. I mean, you had this beautiful hair and you just started sharing with me your story. And for me, because in fact, secretly, when I was starting my business years ago, I used to hide in cafes because I knew that's where the stories were and I would get inspiration to also start my own businesses. And I'm so glad that I met you. And the story you told me, I didn't know how full and rich and redemptive it was. So, how do you feel sharing your story in its fullness?
Wow. I think this is actually the first time I've been able to share it in that length and volume. Mostly, I tend to focus on Saru alone, without diving much into how Saru came to be. It feels enriching.
Yeah.
It feels good to finally have it out there. And I just pray it's something that if there's any young lady out there, probably finding herself in the same shoes I was, with an unplanned pregnancy and being very scared of the future, that it gets better with God.
Yeah. I was literally almost crying at some point, and they have big eyes. Gosh, that's a lot of tears. And I was just literally stopping myself because I'm like, I'm here to hold your hand. And I'm just really so proud to see it in its fullness. And my dream is that at some point in Africa, we will stop telling our stories from, let's say, the Western perspective of suddenly like a big bang theory. Suddenly an idea came. Suddenly I built it. Suddenly I got capital. Suddenly we are selling everywhere. Suddenly I've sold it to a big, I don't know what. But I love how you tell your story because you're telling it from an African perspective and you're telling it that businesses come from the heart. Like people don't get into business just for money. People get into business because they found a problem that they are so stubborn about fixing, because it's personal for them to fix this problem.
Absolutely.
And that's what keeps you going, to keep finding ways to fix this problem, because it's personal. So even when you lose people, some people fall off, even when you fall sick, even when something fails, you still learn from it quickly, you fail forward and you keep going. And I just love how your story portrays that entrepreneurship isn't about, how people like saying you catch flights, not feelings. It's not about like how sometimes it's painted on social media, the whining and dining, the travels, the all that. But behind the business, there is a person with emotions who is stubborn about fixing a problem. Do or die, they're going
Yeah.
to fix that problem, and they've made it personal. So thank you for showing us that. And I just desire to see more African women telling stories about, this is the heart behind the business.
Yeah.
This is my why. Then maybe we would be seeing the true heroism behind businesses, is that we are here to fix problems that really matter. It's not just about the money. The money is the result.
The icing on the
Yeah,
cake.
it's the icing on the cake. But we need to really build African businesses from the ground up, starting with the heart.
Yeah.
What do you think, Juliet?
Yeah, your story just represents the reason for our podcast, to be quite honest.
yeah.
It's such an African story, and it's such a great business. I knew Saru before I knew Mkamboi. Yeah,
Wow.
so like on the social media streets, I was just like, oh, this sounds nice, And so many years later is when we got together, particularly this year. This year, yeah. And it was just so amazing. Your hair, first of all,
The curls are curling.
like
They understood the
it just if you want
assignment.
to know Moringa works, you need to meet Mkamboi. Now I'm so curious to see your daughter and her hair, because if she started on Moringa at such a time, then it must just be a glorious
Mean.
yeah. So amazing. And I love the personalization as well of the entire story. And your motherhood, but your biggest trigger was your mother. So like the theme of motherhood in your story is actually so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for honoring us with your story. And I'm sure, like every time you were speaking, I was like, oh, that section of that story is nice. That section is nice. Oh, that's so amazing,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for honoring us with your story. And I don't know, what does now, because like we are saying, the theme is in the motherhood. I don't know, what does your daughter see when she looks at you doing your business and running your businesses? Is she catching the business bug? What do you think she's
The look on your face tells it. Ebu, let's hear this
Are
story.
we building a multi-generational business?
Yeah.
So one of my mentors, he's Indian. His name is Galib. I hope he'll get to hear this. He's Indian, and they've built a family business that currently are 100 years old.
What?
Yes. It started with the grandfather coming to Kenya in the early 19 something, I think. I've forgotten, maybe 1922 or 19, because they celebrated 100 years just around 2 years back or so.
Wow.
And I can remember asking him, what does it take for you guys to be still here holding what your grandfather came and put as a seed? And because I had that, I had him, and admired how their family has built, has been able to, they've actually gone to school to the UK, but they come back and they continue in the family business. So they've been given the best, but they come back. That best, they could have taken it to IBM, I don't know, Safaricom, whatnot, but they brought it to their family business. And that is something that I've really admired in that family. And so he tells me it begins with just allowing them as kids to be in the business as early as possible. And if you used to come to K1 flea market, because that was my first market where I used to sell, I used to be there with my baby, Shani, and she had this very adorable smile. So I used to use her, I would tell her, smile, 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 because she'd smile and you'd have no option than to stop on her table, because you'd have to be so hard to ignore such a cute smile. And so when somebody comes to the table, then I would take over, because now she has done her part. Now I need to explain, the products and sell. But yes, I started involving her as early as that. For 5 years of age, we would go to the market together, mainly because I didn't have somebody to leave her with.
Yeah.
But also because she was a great company and I wanted her to see what mommy is doing. And she was very much involved in labeling. Right now, I know the brand has machinery to do the labeling, but in the beginning, those labels are being made by my hands and Shani's hands.
Yeah.
So if today you tell Shani, I want these bottles
Yeah.
labeled,
She can do it.
very fast,
Yeah.
she'll label them for you.
Yeah.
However, as she's growing up, I've seen a bit of change. She's a preteen right now.
Yeah.
She's a bit interesting. But now, as much as she has been there and seen, how Saru grew, because she has seen it from the days of us living in a studio to moving into a big house. She has been there. She has seen the steps and all that.
Yeah.
But as much as she has seen that, I see her, what we were talking before about generation, different generation. I see her not wanting that suffering. I see her trying to, mom, that suffering was for you. Me, I'm on this other level.
Yeah.
So the other day, because when she's in holidays, the usual habit is we should go to work together. And so she was lazing with getting her ready, in the morning. She needs to get ready so that we can go. But she was trying to lazy, pulling her, dragging herself and all that. And I was like, Shani, please hurry up. One day you're the one who's going to run Saru brand. And then she goes like, oh, I'm going to be the CEO of Saru. Like, of course you're going to be the CEO. Whom do you expect to take over? Like, okay, mom. But one thing, are you going to make sure there's a welcoming party for me as I become the CEO? Let me tell you, all the suffering I've gone through. I was like, you mean with all that work I've done, your expectation is we should have a welcoming party for you? Because for me, I'm coming from a place of, you should even be grateful that I'll be leaving a functional company for you to run.
Yeah, you're not starting from scratch. Yeah.
You're speaking of a party, welcoming party. Yeah, and I mean, we are a different generation. Not that she doesn't know the suffering, she knows about it. And she's actually very appreciative. When she prays, you'll hear her saying, thank you, God, for how far you've brought mommy. You'll hear her saying
That's
that.
so beautiful.
But at the same time, she has disconnected from that suffering. She doesn't want
Like
to be
soft
part
life.
of
Yeah. And she doesn't have to
Soft
be
girl
because, she doesn't have to. Mommy suffered for us.
Yeah.
But I love that because there's a lady I follow on Facebook. She runs a business called Isnat Honey, something. I can't remember the full name, but she also has a daughter. And just recently she posted on Facebook that she's taking her to work. She's doing the labeling, exactly what you've said. And I love that. I love that story. That's a really African story. And I'm so sure there are many other mothers out there involving their daughters in that way. And we are just like building the kind of businesses like that we were saying should become now listed at the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Yeah. I can't wait to see Saru at the NSC, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Dr. Dundo, watch out for us. Watch out for these African women businesses. And just what you say, the generational, until Auma said it, I didn't notice that beautiful connection between the generation of mothers, that from one mother to another, it really took a village to build Saru, and it started with your personal empowerment. But even when you're not feeling yourself, when you did not feel like you had the confidence, when you felt like you didn't have much in your hands, your mom was there at 60 years supporting you, So how does your mom feel today seeing you having come this far with your baby and even with a business and a new business coming up? How does your mom feel about it?
Oh, I think she's the proudest mom in this planet. I think she's the proudest mom in this planet. Now, we know, like when I said before, parents want you to complete graduation, end up in Safaricom, the big corporate companies, start earning good money. That was her dream as well. And so in the beginnings, I was starting Sarah, as much as she was supporting me, she was feeling like, Aki woye, is my daughter lost? Like, who can I talk to so that they can hire my daughter? Because you're seeing me with the blenders and the sufurias.
And she's like, Aki, after a whole degree.
And she's like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was her back then.
Yeah.
But today, oh my goodness, she's the biggest ambassador of Saru. She's
Mm.
always like, do you know my baby? Do you know my girl is the one who has made those products? Have you seen them? Are you using them? She's
Beautiful.
so proud, and she can't even help not speaking about me.
Oh, that's
So-
so beautiful.
So after listening to the Saru story and Mkamboi's story, for those of you who know about Saru but not about Mkamboi, please let us know what really struck you about this particular episode. And if you're a young mom thinking about starting a new business but you didn't know where to start, please let us know. Have fun with us, brainstorm with us. We can be the community that holds your hand and speak life to where you're at. What kind of business do you think you have in your hands? Let us know and we'll think with you, we'll support you and have fun with it. But even in your family, if you've had stories where maybe there's not been a business owner in your family, or if you're in a family where mothers have actually begun businesses, please let us know. We want these stories of African businesses being built by strong, powerful moms who believe in themselves and who believe in each other. We want to really build a beautiful narrative out of this. If the Saru story through Mkamboi really inspired you, please let us know what that means to you.
Hey sis, Alma here. Mkamboi's money story touches on motherhood and the idea of how motherhood has ignited her journey to getting economic empowerment, financial literacy, all these things is an important tool to consider for yourself. You might not be a mother, but you could be going through seasons where you're moving from one state of life to the next stage of life. And studies have shown that the best seasons to acquire new information and actually change money behaviors is in those seasons of transition. So whether you are a high school girl going into campus, or whether you are a campus girl going into work, or whether you are a working girl getting married, or you're a working girl getting your first child, all those seasons, when you're moving from one phase to another, what happens is that your mind is in a place where it can accommodate new information and a willingness to change your behavior because you're looking forward to the next stage of your life. And so I want you to consider for yourself, which stage of life are you in right now, and what is the next season of your life, and ask yourself, what are the kinds of behaviors and the kinds of mindset that you need to acquire in order to transition to the next phase. Because from Kamboi, you could see that the idea that she was not able to provide for her daughter really ignited her business savviness. Maybe she didn't even realize that she could actually sell, and she had to learn how to sell. So you see, that's a particular skill that she needed to move into the next phase of her life. So as you consider it, is there something that you realize that, oh, I'm going into campus, I've never held this much money, I probably need to learn how to budget? Or I've just finished campus and I'm starting to work and I've never really thought about taxes. This is a new skill I need to learn, or a new piece of information that I need to figure out. Or I'm getting married and I've never lived with somebody, I've never shared my money with somebody. So, what is my value system and how do I incorporate somebody else into my life? So, consider the stage of life that you're in and what the next stage of your life is, and then consider what kind of new information or new skill sets that you need to acquire. The second tool that I want to talk about is, if you have ever asked somebody, oh, I have 100,000 shillings, I have 50,000 shillings, what kind of business can I start? If there's anything you can pick from our story today, is that it's the wrong question to ask, right? The right question, and you can see that Mkamboi sat down with her God and asked her, what is it about these hands that you have given me that can create something? Why are they not creating something? Why are they not bringing something back? So probably that's the kind of question you need to be asking, because when you're thinking about making impact, starting a business, you are more likely to have higher impact, bigger even sales and revenue from your business when you're particularly, first of all, looking at your skill set, what you're capable of, what your talents are, what your knowledge is, and then secondly, what is the problem for the people around you. Because from Kamboy's story, there was a problem of a farmer, there was a problem of a daughter who needed her hair fixed without drama, you know? And once she put these two together, this business that came out of it has grown and has given her stability, has changed her financial trajectory, has changed her entire life from what she was able to share with us. So if you are in that state, you have some money, don't ask yourself, what kind of business can I start? Start by looking internally, and then look around you. Look at your environment and identify problems that you can see, and then connect those problems with a particular talent, a skill set that you have. And by doing that, that's the best basis of a business as good as Saru Organics. So if you're there and you're in that situation and you're trying to think about how to grow a business, where to start, be sure to sign up to our email list, and you can be able to get more tips around how to grow with your finances and even grow with business in terms of coming up with business plans and business ideas.
Did you love today's episode? Share it with a friend and stay tuned for more stories. Subscribe now to our podcast and follow us on our socials on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Her Money Story Africa.